Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of the JSS Podcast. We have a special treat for everybody listening today. If you're from our area, this guy is probably one of the most famous or infamous, we'll say it that way, on social media, putting out amazing content, real estate, mortgage, all the stuff that you want to know about the city. So we have Alex Ramirez here from Valor Home Finance. Alex, appreciate you.
I appreciate you, Byron.
Thank you for spending a little bit of time with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for reaching out to me. I mean, we've already known each other for a little bit. I don't know how far we go back. We never really sat down, had long conversations, but we've known each other just for the industry.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that I was telling our producer, Seth, here was just like, it's like, you know what? I've known Alex. I've kind of been in different spheres that we've kind of always bounced together for maybe 10, 15 years, maybe.
Long time. 18 or so,
Yeah. So, there's a lot of things that I want to kind of talk to you about and ask, and a lot of things that inspire me. And it's just like, but I want to start off by just kind of introducing Valor Home Finance. And I know you guys have a mission for VA financing for veterans and for first responders. And to me, that's a huge thing, and we don't do a lot of that. My brother's a veteran, but it's always something that's close to us, that we think it's super important. So tell us about how that mission came out for you to start that.
Thanks for asking. Not too many people always ask. They say we help veterans, we help service members, first responders. But it's interesting how, I've been in the industry since 2005. I got in really young, when it was going crazy. If you had a pulse, you can get a loan. Exactly. It was insane. I think you were in the business during that time. Yeah. So if you know the industry at that time, it's like, then you understand. But at the time I got in just to make money. I was like, I want to make money.
Of course.
I see my cousins in the industry and they're making boatloads of money. I'm like, I want to make a lot of money too. So that's why I got in the industry initially, just because I wanted to make a lot of money. I was always interested in the real estate and the mortgage industry. And that was going to be my path anyway, but it just I was going to college at the time, decided to, drop out of college, Moore Park College, dropped out of there, got into my career pretty much in 2005. And I was just doing loans and we got hit really hard with the market crash in 2008. Just was treading water. Literally treading water. I had, a couple bucks in my account. And then, I just got...
Like the rest of us.
Yeah, certain thing. I just got really lucky, just not completely drowning. But, fast forward, really how the mission happened is... I grew up in Simi Valley. A lot of my friends, they, went to the military. A lot of them went to the Marines. That's Simi Valley is kind of known like there's a lot of people that get enlist in the Marine Corps. All other branches, but... it's heavy
Marines, yeah.
But I never served in the military, but like I said, a lot of people are close to me did. And my best friend Joshua Collins, he was actually he enlisted right after high school, and this was in 2000. But in 2010, he was deployed to Afghanistan. So he'd already been in the Marine Corps 8 years. Out of those 8 years active, he was a reserve for 2 years. So those reserve 2 years, he became a police officer with LAPD. So then while he was a reserve in the Marine Corps, and then he was also a police officer at LAPD, the Topanga station. That was a newer station that he helped open up. He had an opportunity to get deployed to Afghanistan. He was explosive ordnance disposal technician. So his Marine Corps bomb squad. It's kind of just Marine Corps bomb squad. That's what he did. And he deployed. And in October 2010, he was killed in action. He stepped on an IED, was killed. It was really tough. Even still when I think about it, it's really emotional. I named my son after him. My son's name is Josh. And he's really close with me, my family, and we always have conversations. And that was the reason really why, I decided to make the change to help military veterans. I just, he and I always had conversations of just plans that we wanted to do. And when that happened, I was like, you know what, I got to do something to help military vets and, first responders, guys like him. And so, now every veteran I help, I always think of him. So I think of Josh Collins. And that's, when I'm working with a veteran to help them, fulfill their dream of buying a home or investing, I always think of Josh. And that's kind of how it started. And then my longtime business partner, Dean, I know you probably know Dean. Yeah. So he and I have been business partners since 2009. And, he came in along with the mission like we just talked about. It's one of those things we just started doing. And then we started volunteering our time with the organization for the troops in Simi. We'd make these care packages. I mean, whatever we could do, we would do. And then we would donate money for every single transaction we closed. We'd give money to the organization. And then just little by little it grew. And, it took a while, but as we're going through the process of helping veterans, we're learning VA loans and seeing how else we can help veterans. Because I was thinking, how else can I help them? Not just a VA loan. That does help them build wealth and gives them a better life. But what else can we do? And just as we kept going over the years, we created a company, Valor Home Finance. We have other partners too, like Frank, Caleb, and Brian. Brian was in the Army, so he just got out a few years ago. And Frank's son is in the Marines, and then also Brian was in the Marines too, and he's medically discharged. And then you have Dean, his dad was in the Army as well. So everyone has some type of tie or connection. Yeah. Then from there, we've been helping active service members, military vets buy homes, build wealth through real estate, educate them. And then from there, we started a nonprofit called Vets in Valor. Vets in Valor is what we do. We educate military veterans on their service-connected disability, all the benefits available. We have the veteran resources of Ventura County come out to our office every quarter, and we do a Q&A session. So we invite a bunch of veterans and other veteran organizations. We give them food, drinks, and then I'll do a quick presentation about VA loans, about 10 minutes, just brief. And then we have the VSO, the Veteran Services Officer of Ventura County, come out and educate them on everything that's available. And that's kind of how everything started. It's unfortunate. My best friend was killed in action, and we have a memorial for him in our office. And we have his flag, Purple Heart, his medals in there. His dad let me borrow it, so we have it in there. So it's a reminder every single day why we're doing this. And it's not just me. There's other guys in the office. They have their reason why, but this is what pushes me every single day. And it went from helping just being there for one or two veterans to it's hundreds, and I know it's going to eventually get to the thousands. And we have some really cool things that we're working on.
And I think that to me that's and that's amazing to see, right, where the passion comes from, because I think being in business for a long time, like we both have, right? We were just talking about that a little while ago. The business can be draining, right? And it's taxing and stuff, but really understanding why you're doing something and helping somebody out. And there's a bigger mission involved. And yes, we all got in the business to make money. And like I always tell people, this is how we provide for our family. So yes, we're definitely going to make money. But when you can help somebody and really, one of the things that I always see, and my mission has been a little bit different, and we'll get into that a little bit. It's been more a little bit with the Hispanic community and building wealth in that aspect. We were touching on that a little bit too. But it's like with the veterans, there is so much resources, and we ask a lot of these veterans and first responders, and then we kind of forget about them. Right? And it's a society. It's just like, hey, great. We'll celebrate you and we'll salute you at a barbecue, and then we forget, right? But there is, information. There's resources available to them that I think somebody like yourselves and Valor and Vets in Valor, and that really impresses me how you guys can go out there, and it's not about closing a deal, right? It's not about making a sale. It's about really, can I help you? Can I empower you? Can I help you build wealth with different aspects? Yeah. Right. And I think that's huge.
No, thank you. I think it's really important. Like how you're saying, it goes from you wanting to make money. I'm just in the industry to make money, but it gets to a point, like I was in a position where the market started coming back, and we're making some more money. I was making more money again, and I was like, man, why am I really doing this? And then, again, it's unfortunate, kind of like my reason why, but it just changed everything. And it now goes to, there's several people, they'll reach out to me, or somebody will call me and say, hey, I have a friend or family member that needs help with the disability benefits. And we don't do the paperwork for them. We can't do that, but we have connections with different veteran organizations where I can make a call or send an email, and then stuff is being worked on right away. They're in contact with the right people, and it's a whole network. So there's many people that we've helped where it wasn't even about a loan. They say, hey, sorry, it's not about a house. I'm like, no, don't worry. My mission is to help you. Yeah. Mission is to help you. So I help them. And there's, it's cool. Some of the text messages I've received where, someone's thanking me or us of what we've done, how we've helped them. From every age, from, just being discharged from the military in the early 20s, or even the 70s and 80s, we help a Korean War vet. Ooh. He was 80 some odd years old, had 0 disability rating. He came to one of our events, got educated in the whole process, and we got him connected with the right people. And then fast forward, he got his 30% disability rating. And then after that, he got his 100% disability rating. And he was super thankful. And I was just, he was thanking us. I was just happy that he was able to get that. Or Korean War bet.
That's
and he's like, I didn't even know this was available to me.
And
so that's the kind of stuff, we love doing.
And I think that's what sucks, right? A lot of them don't know of what's out there. And I think that's important to have resources or being able to point them in that right direction, right? So changing gears a little bit, and one of the things that really, again, connected us a lot more, reconnected us, I guess, is the social media aspect and the content, and it's funny. I was telling my wife, I was like, hey, guess who I'm going to have on the show? Guess who I'm going to have on the show?
Yeah.
And I told my brother-in-law, they're all from See Me also, and everybody's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, everybody knows Lex Lender 805. Everybody knows Lex Lender 805. And to me, that's cool. It's just like, as we've been trying to do some of this social media stuff, and for me, it's completely out of my wheelhouse and it's hard and stuff. And then, I constantly looking at watching your content and seeing that. And I'm like, this is what we aspire to be, this is what we want to do things at this level. How did you, and I know we talked about it a little bit off camera, but it's like, how did you learn and kind of how to shift that focus where, one of the things that I love about your content is that I don't think I've yet seen a video where you're asking for a loan in any one of your videos. But you're giving a ton of information out about local events, local real estate happenings, city council stuff, which, I think people need to hear.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But not once have you asked for a loan, but psychologically, I'm sure you're getting calls because of that.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Every once in a while, I'll post, a story and I'll talk about loans. So I don't, it's like the whole like Gary V, jab, 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 that. So I'll ask for loans, like I said, sometimes on my stories, but on my reels, on that content that I post or carousel, I won't be asking for loans, but in the caption, I'll have information there. And then when someone goes to my profile, but yeah, people reach out to me, and they'll say, hey, I saw your information about, this. It could be something random about the town center. Hey, I had a question about loans. Because it's like, it's that, or like I'll post a story where I've done it, where I'll post a story and I'm in Mexico and family. And then I'll post things to give people an opportunity to reach out to me. And it's not intimidating. It's not intimidating. It's because they'll say, hey, that's awesome. I've been there before. Or where is that? And I'll respond to them. And I usually am pretty good about responding to my messages right away. Sometimes it'll go to my message request. So I'm pretty good at checking that every day now, but it'll go in there. Maybe I might miss it after a couple of days, but I'll go in there, I'll respond. And then people will go back and forth, ask me some questions about something random or a place where I'm at. Or just a story or a reel that I posted. And then it goes into, by the way, I had a question about a loan. I'm like, perfect. And, or they'll say, hey, do you work with other people other than veterans? I'm like, of course I do. Although we do a lot of VA loans, a lot of our business in my career has always been conventional and FHA, but we're just we're just educated in the VA process, for loan and all the whole thing with not just me, but my team. But yeah, the content, the way it came is I never liked the camera.
Same.
Still I'm not like, hey, so camera. I'm like, hey, camera, right? But we have 3 right now. But it's like I've never been like super excited to be in front of the camera. Even when I was a kid, I was like, if any videos my parents have on VHS, I'm like blocking it. But and when you're recording, they're always worried about what they're gonna sound like. All that, the same stuff. The same stuff you're worried about and you're worried about is the same things I worry about, but it gets to the point where you do it so often that you're like, oh, I'm not thinking about like, okay, are 1,000 people going to see this? I'm just thinking about the one person. That's it. So anytime I do a video, it's always anything. I'm talking to one person, because when people are looking at their phone, they're not looking at the phone with 100 people surrounding them. They're looking at the phone by themselves, probably laying in bed or in the restroom. Yeah. Who knows, right? But it's just them. Yeah. But it started because I always wanted, I knew that was the way to get that was going to be the way to get business through social media. So I started posting some stuff on Facebook little by little, and like I post like not a story, but it was like a video. Back then it was just like a video, right? And I was super nervous. I'm like, it would take me like a day or 2 to even just prep. Okay, what am I going to say when I go to this open house? And I'll post something really uncomfortable. So I started doing that, and I do some stuff here and there. Then my business partner and I started doing some videos. Dean and I did some videos, and I still have the originals. and we're super awkward, and like we had a piece of paper like under the camera, under my phone on the tripod, and we're trying to read it. It was so bad, right?
We've done that all too.
Yeah, and I was just always trying to create content, and then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
So pandemic happened, and that's one thing. If you're posting content regularly before the pandemic and during, like most of the people just blew up during that time. So I came across a guy on my feed, Neil Dingra. Neil Dingra, if you know Neil Dingra, you'll probably look him up after this. He's probably one of the biggest. He's in the mortgage industry, probably one of the biggest, I would say, creators in the mortgage space and education space. I would say in the industry. He goes all over the country now.
Oh wow.
But I saw him, and he was posting some content, and I was like, this is the kind of content I want to post. This is the guy I want to ask. So I follow him, I message him, like, hey, what's up? I'm like, dude, how did you create this content? This is awesome. And then he followed me back, and then we started messaging each other. And he's like, hey, bro, I got this event I have coming up. And at the time, I couldn't make the event. And I was like, okay. I'm like, I'll try to make the next one. And then we just stayed in contact, and I saw his following just grow. It went from like, a couple thousand, just kept growing. And then it was probably, I don't know, maybe like a year I was talking to him. And he hits me up. He's like, hey, bro, I'm going to have this program rolling out. You want to be part of it? It's about creating content, how to create reels. I'm like, yeah, of course, man. You're going to teach me? At this time, I just had my phone, and I didn't really know how to create content, right? I'm not a creative guy. I'm a sales guy. I do loans, and I run numbers. I do that stuff. I'm a business development type person. I'm not like a creative guy like that likes to do this kind of stuff, right? My sister went to school for this, right? So she went to school with that. I'm like, that's not what I'm going to do. That's what she went to school for, not me, right? But I get part of this program. I start learning after a few months, and then Neil tells our group, there was probably like, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 people in the group all around the country. And then he says, hey, I'm going to have this event called Forward Event. It's going to be in Vegas. I'm going to do this and that. He's like, but I'm going to be launching my mastermind. I want you to be a part of it. I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. And I kind of had an idea how much it would cost. I mean, not cheap, five figures. It's not cheap. I mean, to be part of these masterminds, I always thought it was crazy to be, spending $10,000 or more to be a part of a group. I'm like, why? I could just meet them, right? Anyway, so I go to the event in Vegas. I meet these people that I was going to these Zoom classes on, and Neil was training us and coaching us. That's when he started teaching. During those classes, he was teaching us how to create content. So I was doing videos here and there, and it was really like not good. I mean, when I look back, I'm like, those weren't good, but I still have them up, right? And I was doing what I could, trying to learn. I went to his mastermind. I paid the money to get in his mastermind. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And when I became part of the mastermind, all of a sudden, when you meet these people, I think we met like 3 or 4 times in a year period, right? That's how long the mastermind is for. And then we do Zoom calls like every other week or so. But when I met these people, I'm like, wow, these are like big time people in the industry, and they have the same fears I have. And I learned from them, they learned from me, and we just exchange information. We like help each other out. We like cheer each other on. So when we post content, we'd all, engage with the content with each other. And a lot of these people, the majority of them, I'm still in contact with them today, and we help each other out. And I mean, that is really what changed. Like, that's what really helped me build up my confidence in my content. It was just doing it over and over and over again, messing up. Even if it was a crappy reel, I would still let it go, still post it. I didn't care. And then, I did some of my own editing at first, and it wasn't the best, but still I know how to edit a little bit. I learned, so I know what's good editing, what's bad editing now. And again, that's not something I went to school for or anything like that. It's just something I'm just trying to keep up with the industry. And another good friend of mine, Danny, he really helped me out. I was mentioning him off camera. He was a realtor. Now he just does media. He really helped me out how to understand how to use cameras and, what settings you have to put, lighting, all that. And Neil taught me that too, but he was one that really pushed me. And he would just tell me. I remember we were in Vegas, and he was for his event, and he was telling me, he's like, bro, I'm just a loan officer. I'm just a loan officer just like you. And I just took a risk, and it sounds crazy. I could take a risk creating content.
It is.
Man, so for some people it's scary. And I don't want to, my daughter, I don't want to embarrass her, but if she sees this, but my daughter, you know,
It's okay. They don't follow us.
she,
Kids
yeah,
don't follow us.
she sees my content though. So, so she's, you know, she's in high school and, she's, you know, she has Instagram, but she doesn't really post very much, but she posts like her first story and she was a little nervous, but it was, and I didn't say anything. I was just like, oh, I just remember she's really young and she posted, you know, somewhere she was at last weekend and it was, her first story and she was nervous, excited, anxious, all those feelings. So what are people going to say? I'm like, I don't know. It probably doesn't really matter what they say. I'll bet anything your friends are probably going to post some, you know, they'll be nice, some encouraging stuff. But that's the thing I was watching. I was like, whoa, that's the thought process, like what she's going through. And that's everyone goes through. It doesn't matter what age you are. Like, what are people going to say? What are they gonna say about me, the way I speak?
How many likes am I gonna get?
How many likes am I gonna get? Are they gonna talk crap about my shirt, my hat, my hair, my whatever, anything? But the thing is, like, even if somebody does say, or they, I mean, you'll get trolls, people commenting, but even if someone says something about you or whatever, like, who cares? I mean, who cares? They say it, and then once they're off your page, 5 seconds later, they're looking in the mirror and they're like, oh man, my hair is messed up too. They're worried about themselves and they forgot about you.
Yeah. And you know what? And it's funny because that's literally what we go through here every day when we're working on a content and we're trying to do stuff. And, you know, Seth is continuously pushing me. We have to do this. And I'm like, but nobody wants to hear me. Yeah. And that's literally every time I'm like, nobody wants to listen to me. Why does anybody care? Why does this? Why did that? And he's like, just do it. Do it. And, you know, and consistency. And that's a big part of it, as with anything else we do. Right?
Yeah.
Working out, dieting, sales, it's consistency, right?
100%.
It's being a good dad, being a good husband. It's consistency, staying in place, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm using that as a little bit of a transition into the next kind of thing. And one of the things we were talking about, which again, you know, to me is big. And I love to have conversations like this is, you know, you and I have a lot of similarities, like we talked about, you know, in our family lives and things, how we operate, you know, and, you know, just share a little bit about how do you balance that, the being an entrepreneur, influencer, content creator, but your most important jobs is being, you know, the husband, being the father. You know, we talked about traveling and, you know, going to Japan, that you talked about, you know, how do you balance those pieces in your life?
Man, that's a good question.
I'm trying to learn. That's the reason I'm asking.
You know, like people, they say like the work-life balance, and I've always thought, how do they do that? How do they do that? But then people that I know in the industry, like mentors in the mortgage industry, told me like, hey, you know, time block, do this and that, but it's you can't really get work-life balance. I kind of think it's BS.
Yeah.
It's just people say that because then people say it from the top. Just, I guess, like there'll be coaches that say that, but the reality is I don't think that's really possible. I mean, yeah, with, you know, mortgage, you know, we have our nonprofit, you know, my life, and I'll kind of tell a little bit, my life is a little crazy at the beginning of the year, really crazy. And I'm also a track and field coach for the local high school. Yeah. So I put that in all my everything. And yeah, people ask me, how do you balance it out? It's like, I'm thinking, how do I don't balance it? The thing is what I've done, I've learned this, I learned it from my dad. My dad's an entrepreneur. He's had his business for, he's an employment agency. He's had it for, I don't know, 34 years or something, like for a long time. Right. And, I just, you know, I wake up early in the morning, you know, I'm like a, you know, 4 a.m. guy. I'll go to the gym. I'll go to the gym in the morning, and then, you know, I go to the gym in the morning, do my thing, and I'll usually get to the office like around like 9:30. But even before I get to the office, I'm still like clearing emails, you know, clearing emails because I'm always doing that. But, I mean, I have what I'll do, you know, I'll have my schedule, you know, I'll put my schedule on my calendar and I'll block certain times out for like client, you know, appointments, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, really, I just, instead of having like my life go around my work, I try to get my work to go around my life the other way around, because it's like without my family, I mean, really, I mean, man, why are we all doing this? I mean, we're trying to build a legacy. We want to take care of our kids, our sons, our daughters, whoever you're taking care of. We want to be there for people. So, you know, also my partners too. You know, I have to produce. I have to do well to help them too. You know, because if I'm not producing, it, you know, impacts them as well. But I mean, I just everything I do, I look at it the other way, and I learned that again. I was at an event with the mastermind with Neil Dingra, and there was a coach talking about how he has his his work go around his family life. And that's, I haven't perfected it, but I'm getting better at that. So I'm trying to have, so what I'll do during the track season. That's track season. It depends because you have like winter track, but it goes from like December to about May. But the busy time during track season is like, it's early March to about May. That's the busy time. You have about 1 to 3 track meets every week, and you have practice, 5 to 6 days a week. It really depends. And then practice is at 3:00. 3:00, and that's kind of towards the end of the day, but
prime work hours.
Prime work hours. So what I do, I get to the office a little earlier. And then I get my work done, make my phone calls, and I have the way our team is set up. So we follow the book. You ever heard of Traction? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we follow Traction. That's something we got into a couple years ago. So, we separate our jobs really well. So like sometimes we blur the lines, but for the most part, so really my job is really marketing, sales, all that kind of stuff. And then Dean, he's really structuring. He's the engineer putting stuff together. So the cool thing is, we're able to balance things out like that. And Brian's our production manager. So a deal that goes, once it goes into escrow, you get loan disclosures out. He goes from disclosures and close it, funds it, everything, right? But we've balanced it out pretty well where that helps. So now that we've had that set up and it's been going real well, and we can make some improvements, but it's pretty dialed in. Yeah, it's pretty dialed in. So that has helped where I'm like, okay, now, I'm able to coach. Because my daughter runs, I coach my daughter, and we have 160 athletes, and there's 4 coaches, and there's a lot of kids to be responsible for. So I'm coaching them. So anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week, middle of the day. So I go from 3 to 4:30, get to the office, and I'll get to the office from 4:45, 5 p.m. and I'll work to about 7:30 p.m. And that time I'm catching up with phone calls because a lot of people, they get home.
Yeah.
That's what I'll set up my appointments for phone at that time because they're getting home around before dinner. And, I'm getting all that squared away. I'm creating my content. I'm recording my videos. So I try to do my best with batching. I'll knock all these videos out all, 1 or 2 days. I'll do 5 or 10 videos at a time. But yeah, everything I do, I just kind of I used to be so worried about okay, how am I going to fit my life in between everything? But then when I decided, I'm like, no, I'm going to fit my work in between my life. Yeah. It's my family life. It's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly it. It's one of the things that I've, always, that work-life balance doesn't work, right? It's just, that's that key word that we've all been through the seminars. We've all been to the coaches are like, oh, you got to, do this. My opinion, I think what works is surrounding yourself with the right people, right? You have teammates that do it, your partner in life that they understand. And I think that has a lot to do with it, right? It's being able to have somebody that supports us, because our days sometimes can get crazy, right? My wife has a whole photo album in her phone of me being on the phone anywhere we are in the world. Oh man! And I'm traveling. There's a picture of me on the pyramids in Mexico closing a deal. In Tokyo, that's it, right? And I'm always like, hey, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, there's no reason to be sorry. You're working. We understand that, right? My family, everybody understands that. Oh, they even have a joke because my phone rings and I start pacing back and forth. They're like, is he in the CIA or something? It just seems like, some spy, but really it's not, right? It's having that. That's the balance that I think works, right? Is having the right people, having people to support you, understand what we go through. And it's like, look, if this is a lifestyle that we're creating, obviously, making time for all the important things. And, I think, both of us have gotten to the point in our careers where we've been doing it for a while. Yeah. We can take a little bit more liberties. That's the young guys kind of coming into the business now, right? We can take a little more liberties and say, hey, you know what? I can take off at 3:00, go do this. And because I know that I trust myself, I'm going to come back and do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's trusting yourself. That's big right there. As long as you can trust yourself and go back. Because maybe in my younger years, I'd leave. I'm like, I'm going to go home. Do it tomorrow. I'll go go get a drink, whatever. But yeah, I think it's trusting yourself. And I think now when I was younger, of course I want to make money. That's ultimately, that's the goal. But, certain things that drive you, whatever your why is, your mission. And, I know what my why is, my mission. That's what really drives me. But then at the same time, I'm like, I'll tell people, I'll let people know I'm in an appointment, but it depends who really I'm talking to, but I'll let them know, hey, you know what? I'm with my family right now. Yeah. Is it okay if I give you a call back in an hour? And The majority of people will say totally fine, sorry. I'm like, because they get it.
Yeah.
And I think if you have a client or somebody that doesn't respect that, see ya.
Yeah.
See ya. But early in my career, I'd be like, please, oh no, you can't leave me. But if they don't respect me and my family, because I respect them and their family and, you know, their family time, whatever they're doing, if they can't do that to me, then peace, you're out.
Yeah.
You're done.
That was one of the hardest things for me to learn in my career. Same. It was like, I was the guy that was constantly, I have to answer the phone all the time and this, but you know, it's okay to tell a client, say, hey, you know what? I'm at a family event right now. I'm having dinner with my wife, whatever it is. And if they don't get it, then you know what? I don't need the business.
Yeah.
Right. And we've earned that.
You earn it, and then you're not desperate, but then it's like you realize what's more valuable. It's like, yes, I can. Hey, if I take this call and I just maybe I'll get berated by this customer, maybe, but I'm gonna make a $10,000 commission. You're like, okay, cool. Or do I just fire this customer because they're not nice to me? I know how they're gonna be, and you know, spend this extra time with my family all day. I'll do that. And the thing is, it pays back. It comes back and pays back tenfold. It really does. I mean, it really does. And yeah, man, this industry it's really interesting. I mean, the ups and downs, but I mean, I think about it, I'm like, man, what else would I do?
Yeah.
What else would I do? And I think about, well, I would do this if I can go back, or this and that. But then I really think about it, I'm like, but look at the life it's given me, and the freedom that I have. I'm able to, in the middle of the day, I'm able to coach, go coach my daughter, and 3 times a week, even now, we'll go to the college, and then her and we work out. Like I work out with her. Like I work out. We did it yesterday. We run stairs. We do all that. We do sprint workouts. I'm going to do it again today. We're able to do all that. And the cool thing is, like, the whole team setup, like even I was driving, and I get I get a text message from a realtor. Say, hey, can you send a pre-approval for this amount for this client? I was like, yes, I'll send it. And then I was like, okay. And I text Dean, huge favor. I'm driving right now to Moore Park College. Can you please send a pre-approval for this client and copy this realtor?
Yeah.
Boom. 2 minutes. He's like, done. That's what's so cool, because
being able to trust the people around you.
Yeah.
Right?
And the way our team is, it's like, if I need to bring in he brings in business too, but I need to bring in the business. And then, all this other stuff, he knows it's his responsibility to do this, but it's my responsibility to bring it in. So it's like, I mean, you just have to really figure out, once you find your team and your people, oh man, it's a big difference. Yeah. It's a game changer.
And I think that's one of the things that, most young people kind of coming into the business and sales and entrepreneurship, it's they think, or they feel, and I know I'm guilty of it. And I'm sure you've kind of gone through it, where you feel like you have to do everything. I'm
still a little like that sometimes.
I'm still like that.
I'm still trying to, because that's the old school thinking, how we got in the industry. It was like no tech.
Yeah.
It was
a free for all. It was if you didn't do it, nobody was going to do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I know, and that's what we're kind of learning and kind of evolving and stuff. So, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, so we'll talk about one more little thing. And
no, we're good, man.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Look, because we can sit here for hours, but no, it's just I kind of want to bring it back to Vets and Valor, and I know you guys have an amazing event coming up real soon. And we were talking a little bit, and JSS, we want to help participate and sponsor stuff. But tell us about this event that I know it's very, very something that's very important for your mission.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're co-hosting an event called 13 Souls Memorial Run. This is the 5th anniversary. Last year, the 13 Souls Memorial Run, that nonprofit, the founders, Jeff Von Molt, they didn't do it last year just because of the amount of work that's involved. So our other partner, Frank, reached out to Jeff, asked him, hey, we want to sit down so we want to talk about, helping you with this event this year. So we sat down, had a conversation about co-hosting. So it's there's a few people from that organization, and then there's 5 of us. So we're helping them do the whole event right now. But the reason that came is because of 13 souls that were lost in Afghanistan in 2021. Jeff's son, he was in the Marines. He was there when it happened. So he was there when it happened. So when the explosion happened, they got the news, they heard that there was lives lost, and they knew their son was there at Abbey Gate. So they were you can only imagine, they were so worried that Jeff and his wife Yvette, they were sitting in their living room looking out the window. I've been in their house, and the living room was like straight out the window, front door. They're looking out the window, just waiting for Marines to walk up. Like that's because they didn't get any communication, nothing. So they're just waiting, and you can only imagine, if your son, your daughter, just something happen to them. So luckily he was good. Like he didn't get hurt. He was fine, but he was there. I know he lost some people that I knew, and this is why Jeff started this event, because those other 13 lives that were lost. So he wanted to honor them. And so the money is raised to help to give money to those 13 families, and also other service members that were hurt during the Abigate as well. So money is given to the families for scholarships, and also the way our partnership with them is money is going to them to help them, but also Vets in Valor. There's going to be a small portion of that going to Vets in Valor, so we can help the service members, the military vets right now, to help them transition back into civilian life. That's Vets in Valor. Like I said, we help educate military vets on all their benefits, everything available, the resources. We connect them with everything, right? But also we want to make sure that the military vets have a good transition into civilian life. So this is the money that we're going to use to help support them with. There's another organization we're also going to be working with, where it's called Wild Ops, where it's going to help combat veterans. They're going to be going on these excursions, are about 1 week long, and it's they put on these great events for them. It's for healing for the combat vets with PTSD. I personally, like I said, I have a lot of friends that were in the military and suffer from PTSD. And I hate to say suffer from PTSD, but they have PTSD, and it's tough when you see your friends, people that you're really close to, going through this. So they need the support.
They do.
They need the support, and this is what this is all about. And we're expecting about 800 to 1,000 people at this event. So yeah, we have some cool stuff. We're gonna have. There's some content that we're putting together right now that it's gonna be pretty good for some promotion for the 13 Souls running August 22nd.
And it's a run, right?
It's a run. Yeah, it's a run, ride, a walk. So if you can't run, if you can walk, cool. If you can ride, get your bike, you do that. That's fine. And it's a 1K, 5K, 10K, and half marathon. So I ran it once before, and I only trained for a 5K.
You're a track coach, so
I'm a sprinting coach.
Okay.
Sprinting coach. Yeah, sprinting coach. I've done triathlons and all that kind of stuff a while back, but I trained for the 5K. And then, we're running, one of my buddies, my buddy Danny, the guy that taught me like a lot of media stuff. We were running, and then at the 5K, I was going to turn around and go back. With 2.5, I was going to turn around and go back and finish it for the 5. And he yelled some stuff at me. I don't want to say it on camera, but he yelled some stuff at me. You can only imagine what he said. He's a Marine, right? And he's all, do the half marathon. I was like, don't be a little, you know what? You know what I'm saying? And I did it with him. I kept going. Did the half marathon. When I finished, my legs were destroyed. My hips were destroyed, everything. Terrible idea. Don't recommend that. So if you do sign up, make sure you train for the race you're going to do. But I guess that's also the mental toughness. I was able to get through it. But it's a cool event. It's to support service members, and also the lives that were lost in Abigate. But I think this is the first one we're co-hosting with them, and can't wait to see what we do in the future with that event.
Well, cool. I've enjoyed myself, and I think we can keep going. But it's just like to try to be respectful of people's time and all that. But I think this was great. I think it kind of shares a little bit the behind the scenes of Lex Lender 805. We're getting a little bit of the insight that some of the other guys aren't getting. So I appreciate it. Thank you for spending a little time with us, and we look forward to growing, and count on JSS. We can help in any way, and we'll definitely take you guys up on that.
I appreciate you, Byron.
Thank you.
Thank you.